What's up guys, it's Cam coming at you from the 2-6. Welcome back to Carolina Fragrance Reviews. It's Labor Day. I'm by my pool. I just thought we'd switch things up, make it a little bit chill. It is officially the end of summer, technically speaking, but as far as the weather around here is still very hot. So yeah, it'd be like November before I can actually, enjoy fall probably. But I have got some of the best aquatic fragrances of all time. Let's get into this. Now, generally speaking, when we're talking about aquatic fragrances, we are talking about fresh and uplifting fragrances that are ideal for summertime. So that's why I chose to do this video on Giorgio Armani Acqua di Gio. Now, I know that you guys are aware of 4 of the primary releases that are still available that most people mess with. I did add one more that is still available. But yeah, we'll get to that one when we get there. The first fragrance is the 1996 release, the OG. This fragrance took the fragrance world by storm. I remember the very first time that I smelled this, I was in Dallas, Texas, coming down a tarmac. I was going to stay with my girlfriend's family, and my girlfriend's sister's husband had this on, and I was like, wow. I was actually smelling it coming down the tarmac, and lo and behold, he had it on, and I was like, oh my God, dude, what the heck are you wearing? So I was really stoked about that fragrance. Unfortunately, it had just come out, and we are talking about 1996 here. So even like in big cities like Charlotte or Raleigh here in North Carolina didn't have it. I actually wound up ordering mine from Barney's in New York. So yeah, that's how long ago this thing did its thing, but it is still the #1 most sold designer fragrance for men. Now, this is a very, very fresh and aquatic uplifting fragrance that really, it was doing something different a little bit. It didn't do anything overly complicated, but it did make its mark enough to where when people smelled it, they knew exactly what it was. Now, some of the notes in this are neroli, green mandarin, bergamot, aquatic notes, rosemary, sweet persimmon, and Indonesian patchouli. Very, very mass appealing fragrance. Like for the longest time, yes, you guys know that I'm in North Carolina here, freaking roosters, like they were silent until I broke the camera out, and now I guess they're wanting to rock some ADG. So I think I'm gonna go over there and spray some of this on them after I get out of the swimming pool. Now, I still love smelling this fragrance. It's really fresh, like I said, just really uplifting, easy to wear. Now, it could be just in my head, and I have mentioned this before, but if any of you guys know if this fragrance has been reformulated, because this is, maybe this is about a year old, freaking roosters. But anyway, I don't think that it smells as strong as it used to. And of course, I know that the available of ingredients and what's allowed and regulated does get changed from time to time. But the next fragrance actually smells very much like the original DNA and then some. Now, I did have to skip over one fragrance because the next release was the Essenza, which is no longer available at stores. You might find one somewhere, for like a ridiculous price. But I was really digging that because it was like a really strong, almost like oily version of it. I mean, I'd spray it on, it would be like high sheen, and I really dug that. I probably got like 3 bottles of that, at one point, but sadly it's gone. So we're gonna have to talk about the next intense version, which was Profumo. Profumo is a much deeper version of that original DNA. What they did in this one is they added some incense and a fresher bergamot note and a darker patchouli, which gives this amazing performance, and most definitely, without a doubt, smells identical to the original, but much stronger. And of course, now, when I say identical, I should be careful how I say that. There are fresher aspects, there are darker aspects, but to me, this smells more like the original than that one that I just had that maybe in my head, I think that they might have, I don't know, maybe dipped out on an ingredient or, softened it a little bit, which you guys know, especially with designer fragrances and some niche fragrances, Aventus, the formulations do get varied a little bit. Simply put, this is an intense version of the original. So we go from 2015 with Profumo to 2018 with Absolute. And this absolutely got shat on. And there's a lot of people that I have talked to since I've actually broke this out in some different lists and everything of people who actually love this fragrance. I think it's fantastic. This one definitely takes that original DNA and, you know, goes in a different direction with it completely to my nose. You know, I think it belongs in the line, but it's definitely, you know, much different, you know, compared to like the original Essenza and then Profumo. This is something I would put on in the afternoon, like, you know, after swimming, after I get out of the shower, you know, or at the beach, get that, you know, salt air and water off, and you're gonna go out, you know, like early evening or whatever. But this, to me, I mean, this is when I would wear it, but if I was to classify this, it would probably be more of like a day scent. No question about it though, the ladies like it, it pulls compliments, it has decent performance, but the next one has really good performance and people hate it. And this is the one that I was talking about, yep. This is that extra one that everybody hates, but I actually really like it. It is Absolute Instinct. Now, I don't know if I've seen anybody say anything positive about this fragrance, but call me weird, I like it. To me, this is like the nighttime version of the one that I just shared with you. Now, this one doesn't have that fruitiness about it. It has a much spicier and darker aspect to it. It has some dark amber woods in here and some added spices. It really kind of gives it like a nighttime fragrance vibe and a seaweed note. Now, I like seaweed notes in fragrances. I haven't smelled that many of them, but the ones that I've smelled I liked, and you do pick up on that, and maybe that might be what people don't like, or they don't like a dark version of, you know, an Acqua di Gio, which is known to be, you know, a really fresh and uplifting aquatic summertime fragrance. This is still a summertime fragrance, but I'd say more of a evening, but this one actually probably would be more appropriate for fall. Like I said, you know, there ain't no leaves turning, no cold air. It's still hot out here. So they broke out Absolute Instinct 1 year after they broke out Absolute, and that was in 2019. So for 2020, they had another release and they went in another direction, and it would be considered the blue direction. This one was received very well by the community. It is Profondo. Now, I absolutely loved the opening of this fragrance when I first got it, but I was a little bit let down. I think it was because the opening was just so good, and then it just kind of fell off. But the good news is this fragrance has grown on me more and more and more. I never disliked it. I was just disappointed that you know, that really sweet mandarin note in the opening was just after a little bit, because the scent bubble that is created when you first put this fragrance on is absolutely stellar. Now, in my opinion, this is going to be the cleanest and the most refreshing of the entire ADG line. Of course, that is just my opinion. Some of you may disagree with me on that, but if you're wanting that really, really, you know, perfect summertime fragrance, it's just super refreshing, Profondo just might be your pick. So they added a green mandarin note to the top notes of this one, and they also added some cypress, and of course it has some of the other notes like rosemary, and then they used the lavender like they did in the Absolute. They added a musk to this, and then like a ambery accord in the dry down. So this does dry down very nice. It's just the opening of this was just like, just suspend it. Just suspend it in the air, hold it there. I'd be happy if it was linear. Look at me with my shadow. Yeah, it's sun's starting to go down a little bit. So forgive me for that. And I know you're only seeing like half my face, and no, it's not a thing to the Illuminati or any dumb crap like that. Either way, in my opinion, I don't think that you can go wrong with any of these fragrances. Now, I know some of you will disagree with me on that Absolute Instinct. Yeah, Timmy, my editor, we were talking about that the other day, and he's like, you like that? And I was like, yeah. He said, nah, not me, bro. So, but yeah, you know, it's all subjective, and I think it's a solid line, and I wish they would bring the Essenza back. I did have a bottle of the Golden Blend, but I gave that to my brother, so I hope he enjoyed it or whatever. So let me know down in the comments what your favorite Acqua di Gio DNA is. Is it the 1996, the OG, or was it the 2020 release Profondo or something in between like that. Absolute instinct. Either way, I hope you guys are enjoying your day. I hope you're relaxing. You know, some of you might have got a day off like I did, so I'm getting ready to hop in the pool. You guys take care. Until next time, I'll see you on Carolina Fragrance Reviews.